What's going on, guys? It is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video in the penultimate episode of my Season 2 career mode here for Brazil, round 20 of the season, and we're here for qualifying at Interlagos. And thank you for the response on the last episode, guys. Hopefully we can try and follow up here today on this episode, which is a very important episode for us because we need to try and keep the gap with Ricardo and even try and gain a few points on him to really set up a title showdown at Abu Dhabi. And right now we're jumping straight into qualifying, and we're actually going to try and qualify in Q1 on the medium tyre. I'm going to go for that tyre, get it out of the way, and then use the soft in Q2 to start the race on that particular tyre. I've got a strategy in mind for the race that I want to try and do. So let's see how things unfold. Currently in Q1, the laps are particularly average. I've got to say, nothing spectacular, and we come across the line for P7 at the time of crossing the line. However, come the end of the session, we would finish in 14th place, just scraping above the relegation zone. So luckily we didn't get knocked out, but it was not too far off. So nothing there spectacular in terms of that lap. Not really impressive. And at that point, I was having flashbacks to Mexico because I had really bad pace, and I was thinking, has it happened once again? And I'm really struggling for pace around here. But we move into Q2 now on the soft tyre to see if indeed that rumour is confirmed, if we're struggling for pace or not. And here we go then, across the line. Let's see what lap we do, and it's good enough for P4, a couple of tenths off the pace, so not too bad there, and we actually respond. So not too shabby of a lap there, getting P4 come the end of Q2 there, so that's not too bad. And luckily we can sort of put that rumour to bed that we've got bad pace, and we've got some pretty good pace in the bag, and the car was actually driving nicely around here compared to Mexico, and had a bit more, I think a little bit more to give in the car. So we're going to ride on board now for the entirety of the Q3 lap here at Interlagos, one of the best circuits on the calendar. And here we go then, straight away into the centre S, trying to find the braking point on the right hand side to throw it into turn 1 in third gear, short shifting up into full through 2 to get the best possible drive, and then flat out through turn 3, waiting for the DRS to become available right there on the exit of the corner. As we now go across the first sector split, only a couple of tenths behind Verstappen, into turn 4, fourth gear corner, maybe third if you wish to, but getting a good exit now, going through 5 absolutely flat out as we now start to go uphill into the twisty middle sector, which is definitely where this car performs best, as we drop it a couple of gears down of gear 5 through this double apex right hander into turn 8, I believe, the apex, cutting the corner a little bit using the second gear to get the nose in, then flicking it short shift up into third, up on the power, nice and early, trying to get the power down. We get a little bit of a snaky rear end, and we lock up the right front just a slight bit into this next hairpin corner, and we're actually struggling a little bit in the middle sector, a little bit scruffy through here, but still a pretty good middle sector nonetheless. We actually set the fastest middle sector, and we're still about half a tenth behind Verstappen, so we've got a little bit of time to find in this final sector. And I've actually had a pretty scruffy final corner, final proper corner should I say, as we now go flat up through the hill, and hopefully the Ferrari power unit can try and help us across the line. So here we go then, across the finish line. Will it be pole position? Not quite, just missing out, and I think it's going to be P2, and yes it is P2 for the Brazilian Grand Prix, just missing out on pole position. And we actually lost quite a bit of time in that final sector there, about a tenth and a half we lost there. So that final sort of 90-degree left hand corner really cost us a bit of time, getting a really scruffy line through there. So not ideal for us with Verstappen the wild card in the equation, because right now the people who are fighting for the championship are both Ferraris and Ricardo. So the wild card, Verstappen getting pole position into Lagos, and then I'm in second ahead of my title rival Ricardo with Raikkonen in P4. So it shapes up to be a pretty interesting race. Right, so here we go then, it's race day at Brazil, the penultimate race of the season. We've got Max Verstappen on pole, so the man who last race was officially ruled out of the running for the championship has actually got himself in amongst the action on pole position there in his Red Bull Aston Martin Racing. So it's between myself, Kimi Raikkonen just directly behind me, and then behind me to my right is Daniel Ricciardo. So us two are going to try and scrap it out to see who can get maximum points today at Brazil. Raikkonen ideally needs to get a race win today, and I hope that the others drop a few points, but Raikkonen's the most unlucky one out of the three of us. It's mainly between me and Ricardo, and the aim for me today is once again to finish ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. So the task is simple. Here's the strategy that I'm going to be running. So going to be a two-stop strategy, going into a medium and then a hard tyre. Fingers crossed that can work. The tyre is pretty severe around here sometimes. I've underfueled the car ever so slightly just to try and give me a little bit more of an early race advantage, but the main thing here is that we need a good start to try and get past Max Verstappen and try and set the tone up front. And the pace here is looking a lot better than Mexico, so hopefully I can try and be a bit more aggressive, a bit more consistent with my overall race pace. So without further ado, let's jump right into the race. Right, here we go. 5 red lights for the penultimate round of the season, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go. Verstappen getting a great start. I've actually bogged down quite a bit off the line, getting a bit of a sneaky rear end. Ricardo trying to go around my outside. I'm having none of it as I squeeze him a little bit, going around the outside of him, forcing him out wide. Verstappen makes a move. Rosberg now up into P3, so Rosberg making the moves, and Verstappen's the man who's pulling away up front, stringing away, getting the pace up already, trying to get that initial lead up to a second, so I can't have DRS on him. Meanwhile, Raikkonen behind making a move on Rosberg, just trying to get the car into the race rhythm right now, just sort of all over the place right now with the initial phase of this race, no rhythm whatsoever. Verstappen making a nice move, and he's holding on to the lead beautifully, and he's had such a good start. So now I've got to try and keep up with him, hope that he doesn't put in too much of a big rhythm, because I want that first place. That 7 points difference from first to second is massive in the championship, and I really need those 7 points. So I need to try and fight for the race win today and get Verstappen as soon as possible before he starts to get into his rhythm. Verstappen is going to be setting the pace up front. Can I respond? Yes, I do. Fastest lap from myself, so a good pace so far. We're keeping Verstappen under control, and I'm going to try and line him up for a move maybe next lap when the DRS becomes enabled. So let's just try and stick with him now and use the DRS as possible assistance to try and get past him. I had a pretty poor exit out the final corner, so I don't think I want to be close enough to make a move on Verstappen, even with DRS, because the exit was just so poor. But I'm going to just stick behind him, and I'll make a move now, hopefully in the second DRS zone. You saw the speed difference I had compared to him there, so we just got to try and stick behind. Fast up of the race into the 111s, which is a pretty incredible lap time already this early on, and I've actually had a pretty poor exit out there again, so I just can't get the exit that I need to get past Verstappen. Here we go once again, DRS wide open. I'm going to gain a lot on him, but just not enough to make a move, so let's just wait for now. I know in this middle sector I'm pretty competitive around it. This is my best sector, so any chance that I get, I'm going to try and strike like a shark, because I know what I've got to do to get past the young Dutchman. So let's just try and wait for the move. Here we are, we're pretty close to him. I'm going to have a think about dive. Oh no, not good. Bad decision. That was a rash move. I meant to pull more to the inside, but didn't go to the inside enough, and I didn't really commit to the move enough. I was sort of like, I had a last minute bit of doubt whether to go for the move or back out of it, and I just sort of hesitated right at the last second. So yeah, that could have ended in tears. Luckily I'm okay, I'm still going the right way, so we just got to keep it going here. Okay, so the question is, will Verstappen pit? And I think he is. So Verstappen comes in for his first lap of the race. I'm going to stay out. I want to try and go for the overcut. Kimi already pit last lap, so I'm staying out. I'm going for the overcut. I think I can make this work. I've got a bit of life left in these tyres, and I'm not scheduled to pit until lap 6 anyway, so we're going to give the overcut a crack and see how it turns out, but hopefully we can make it work. Okay, so here we go. They're going to come in for my first stop of the race. The in-lap wasn't too shabby. Nothing spectacular, but not too bad. We're going to slow it all down, make sure we don't speed. We don't need to speed, so just take it nice and easy. There we go. Infamously in carbon, me and Cal sped, I think, 5 times in the same race. So that was nice and easy, nice and calm. Also, yeah, still aggressive enough and fast enough to be competitive. But here we go, onto the medium tyres, and now let's see what we do on these. Hamilton's on mediums already, so he must have had a poor qualifying. But here we go, there's Verstappen now. He's the next person to come by, and he's nowhere near me. So Verstappen nowhere near me on track. I didn't have that good of an outlap, so there you go, there's Verstappen there. I was going to say, I didn't know where it was. Obviously, he's glitched on the mini-app because I can't see his dot. So there you go, there's Verstappen. He's made the undercut work, so he's still miles ahead. I was going to say, I'd be very surprised if I did overcut him because the in-lap wasn't spectacular. So there you go, onto the mediums, and now we've got to try and just basically have a nice, clean, easy pace on these, and if we can keep up with Verstappen, but obviously he is on soft tyres, so it can be unlikely. Okay, so I'm right behind Danny Kvyat. He's still on soft tyres, so he's making them last quite a respectable amount of time, but surely he's got to be pitting this lap, if not very soon, because those tyres will be going off very quickly. And there you go, I think he's coming in. There you go, so he comes in for his first stop of the race. I was going to say, that's very impressive, the fact he's taken them tyres that long. But Verstappen, meanwhile, doing his thing up front. He's got some good pace, but right now I've got a very comfortable P4, and there should be a net P2, and also Ricciardo is nowhere to be seen. I had a little bit of contact with him in the first corner, but I don't know what's happened to him. He's disappeared. So right now things are looking pretty good. So Verstappen just pit that time round, so I'm now technically in a net race here because Lewis is still yet to pit, but right now it's just a question of running the lap times. I'm in a bit below my own, to be honest, because I don't know where I am. I think I'm in the net first, but obviously I don't know what strategy Verstappen's on. So right now, yeah, comfortable first place. Still 24 laps to go in this race, so still a long way to go. Right now I've only got one more stop left to go, so things are going very smooth for me. The only thing that could possibly mess this up is if we get a safety car or VSC, but right now that's looking very unlikely, so that's a good sign. So right now we just got to keep the pace going and see how far we can go with these tyres. Here we go, Hamilton finally pits in from the medium tyres, and I inherit the proper race lead this time completely as I lock up the left front severely. These mediums not working particularly great for me. I'm struggling to really turn them on, but either way, because I'm in a lane of my own up front, I'm not under too much pressure. I'm meant to pit this up, but I'm going to stay out for one more, maybe two more, but I've got to say, the two Mercedes cars have really put themselves in this race with their strategy. They both started, I believe, Hamilton on medium and Rosberg on a hard. And Rosberg still hasn't pit, if I'm not mistaken, and Hamilton did his first stop a few laps ago onto hard. So what I'm saying is those guys are right in the mix this race, and they've really got themselves in there with a bit of an alternate strategy. So fair play to them. They've obviously, that's going to help me out in terms of the driver standings. Ricardo, I just had a little check. He's down in around P7. So right now things are looking pretty decent for me, and I've just got to keep it going for 1 or 2 more laps before I pit onto hards. But so far things are working out beautifully. Okay, so I'm going to come in for my second and should be final stop of the race. So let's just try and slow it all down, make sure we hit our marks and to speed, as it is a very important pit stop, this one. Very, very delicate situation right now. We just got to take it nice and easy. We are in the prime position, so we can't mess anything up. Everything has to be absolutely perfect, and so does the pit stop. 2.7, even though it's a bit slow, it doesn't bother me. That's what we needed. So there you go. Rosberg actually happens to pit also on the hard tyre, so he finally comes in for his first stop, and he went about 19 laps on that tyre, so that gives me an indication of how far these tyres can go. So that's perfect for me, because I've got about 16 to go on these. So let's just try and get this car in. Verstappen's ahead of me right now, but I don't think Ricardo and Raikkonen are. So things are looking pretty good. I'm out in clean air, so absolutely perfect now. Everything went into an absolute T. Oh, we've got a yellow flag up ahead. Something's happened up ahead on the track. I don't know what's going on there, but yellow flag conditions, so someone's going slowly. Hopefully, whatever happens, it's not a safety car, because that's the last thing I want right now, because right now I'm in a very good position. So hopefully nothing happens. I don't think nothing will happen, so I think we got away with one there. Okay, so Verstappen's got caught up in traffic, and I've actually caught up to him a little bit, so I'm going to try and make a move on the Dutchman here, as he's being caught up by traffic in the sense of Romain Grosjean. But now Verstappen's going to try really hard to defend, because right now Red Bull need Verstappen to hold on to that position, because that's a net first place right there. So I think Verstappen's going to try and defend with everything that he's got to try and hold on to that. But meanwhile, I think Grosjean's going to try and size me up for some sort of move. I think actually no, he comes to the pit lane. Thank God for that. So there we go. We've got DRS and Verstappen now. Can we go for a dive into turn 1? I'm going to think about it on the brakes, but I think better of it. Just going to let him know that I'm there. A little bit of a scare. Just so Verstappen knows that I'm there. And we're going to try and keep it going here through turn 3 now. Flatter, obviously, open up the DRS. I think I'm a bit too far away to make a move this time round, but we're right at the back of Verstappen. Let's try and make a move on him soon. Okay, so we've got traffic again in the form of Marcus Ericsson. This time Verstappen gets past him with no problems whatsoever. Oh, that was so close. I wasn't straight to the back of Ericsson there, holding me up severely. So look at that. Ericsson's actually going to try and overtake Verstappen, but he thinks better of it, and that actually lets me through, which makes more logical sense, as I get turn 4 completely wrong. Getting all out of shape. But now, let's see if we can try and have a clean shot of Verstappen to try and get past him. Okay, I'm pretty close to Verstappen this time around. Once we get the DRS open, there should be an easy move, but he pulls off into the pit lane, so that's going to release us completely with DRS assistance onto lap 27. And right now things are just going beautifully for us with no issues whatsoever. Not even having to battle anyone majorly because of the way we've timed the pit stop. So things are going really well for us this race. It's just a question of where will Daniel Ricciardo finish, because right now I don't know where he is. Oh no. Oh no, disaster, shit. No, come on, get underway. Oh, damn it, come on, why now? It was all going so well, I've just, stupid mistake. Come on, let's try and nurse the car back to the bit. Let's go into a set of softs and try and push. But that was not what I wanted, that's just not what I needed. That's not gone well at all. Stupid mistake, just lots of concentration. Alright, let's just nurse it back to the pit lane. Come on, let's try and get this all slowed down. That's such a stupid mistake, but either way it's happened now, so we need to try and live with what we've done. I just got on the curb too much, and then a little bit too much power, and I tried to correct it and it just went. So oh damn it, I'm so lucky Ricciardo's not had a particularly great race, but I mean, not ideal. Another front wing change. There's Ricciardo. Ricciardo's gone, so Ricciardo's ahead of me right now. That little couple of dots of cars is my target for the last few laps of this race. So it's Raikkonen just ahead of Ricciardo, so Raikkonen is doing the job for me of being a sort of a buffer for Ricciardo. So I've got 6 laps to try and catch them, and I've got a bit of fuel left in reserve to try and go for it. So let's just see what we can do with these remaining laps of the race. Okay, so first car to overtake is Perez. The grip on these is ridiculous. I was really struggling on them hard tyres anyway, so my pace was terrible. So these are much nicer to race on. I've got a rich mix enabled, so we're just going to push now and basically do time trial laps from here to the end of the race. And I've just noticed Ricciardo's got past Raikkonen, so the task has just got a hell of a lot harder. So I'm going to have to get past my teammate, and I don't think Ferrari are going to let me pass because Raikkonen's still in the title fight mathematically. So let's just give it a crack and see what happens. Fastest lap of the race, good pace. Just got to keep doing these laps all the time. Every lap's got to be like this, so that's the plan. and that is what I've got to do. I'm going to get DRS off of Hulkenberg, which is going to help me. Hopefully he moves out of the way, and that would be ideal for me. So there we go, DRS wide open, Hulkenberg pulls over to the left hand side. Let me try and get past him before turn 4. There we go. Because the AI tend to be a bit stupid sometimes and don't actually let you pass them, and they actually put it on the apex, but luckily Hulkenberg lets us pass, and we're now 8 seconds behind Raikkonen with 4.5 laps to go. Lewis wins the race in Brazil, and I think I might have lost the championship. I think that mistake has just cost me the championship, because I'm still mathematically within the chance of winning it, but the gap is just absolutely massive, and I don't think it's going to be likely to happen in Abu Dhabi, a track where it never rains, there's never really any sort of major curveball. So this was one of them races where Ricciardo had a poor race and he finished P5, and this was the sort of race where I needed to capitalise, and I didn't. I made that one stupid mistake, and I think that's going to cost me the championship. So yeah, I'm a bit annoyed by that. That's probably going to stop me from winning 2 titles in a row, but we'll give it one last crack in Abu Dhabi. But yeah, just struggling overall, and just didn't have the pace in that final stint to really do any sort of damage. The pace overall this weekend was better than Mexico, but the pace wasn't nothing major, and yeah, that's cost us. Verstappen gets P2, so managed to stop a Mercedes 1-2, but Hamilton winning a rare race for Mercedes this season, something that they haven't done too often this year. But Mercedes win the race here at Brazil. Rosberg in P3. Rumours circulating about what's going to happen with their driver lineup next season and what's going to go on there at the Silver Arrows. But yeah, that was Brazil. A disappointing race, and just the pace not there at all. And I think that might be the end of our championship hopes. So there we have it, that was the Brazilian Grand Prix. These are the final race results of Lewis Hamilton winning the race ahead of Verstappen, and Rosberg running off the podium with Carlos Sainz in a brilliant P4 for Toro Rosso. Also Hamilton starting from P14 on the grid, so incredible result for him there, making his way back through the field with Ricciardo in P5 ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, with myself in P7. So unfortunately that's going to be a 4-point deficit I'm going to lose to Ricciardo, which is going to mean that for the final race of the season we're going to be 17 points behind Daniel Ricciardo. So we're going to need a bit of luck in Abu Dhabi to try and pull this one off. Kimi Raikkonen is now officially out of the running for the World Drivers' Championship, and Max Verstappen is in P4. So overall, it's got to be a miracle for me in Abu Dhabi. That's the only hope I've got. Maybe a Ricciardo DNF, or Ricciardo having some sort of altercation with someone, or a poor qualifying, because rain is definitely not going to happen in Abu Dhabi. And looking to find out the constructors, you can see that Red Bull have overtaken Ferrari 2 points ahead going into the last race of the season. So it could be a double disaster for Ferrari after everything that's happened this season, with me and Raikkonen falling out, crashing together a couple of times, and the Ferrari deciding to fire both of us. It's a bit of uncertainty at Ferrari right now, and whether this could be the ideal scenario and the best amount of momentum we could have going into the final race of the season. But nevertheless, guys, hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you could subscribe to my channel for future content like this, and also MotoGP content, and also Carp with Callum, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, if you have missed out any of the videos on the screen right now, then do go check them out if you haven't done so already. But thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.